Hello, hello. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everybody. Can everybody hear me? All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Tulin. All right, so we'll be getting started with today's webinar. And thank you so much for everybody being here today. I am Dr. Erika of Team IMG Helping Hands, and it's such a pleasure hosting and moderating today's webinar. We are going to be talking about so many different topics today. We have such excellent speakers here with us, which I'm really happy to introduce. Let me just go over everything that we're going to be covering today. In today's match season, we're going to be having two very distinguished speakers with us. First, we have Tulin Alshawa, who is going to be conducting today's interview. If we could just give her a warm welcome. Hello, Tulin. Thank you so much for being here. And our other second amazing guest who is here with us as well is Dr. Saanchia Madtha, and she is a PGY1 internal medicine resident. We're really eager to go over just really all the match essential topics. We're going to be going again over everything you need to know about the ERAS application, your personal statement, what programs should you be choosing, what programs did Dr. Madtha choose, and so forth, as well as, again, strategizing on how to go about finding those programs, interviews, tips, and so forth. And as always, guys, we love having an interactive session. So if at any time you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the chat, and we'd be more than happy to answer them either throughout the webinar, after the webinar, but we're always eager to answer any questions that you have. So without further ado, Dr. Saanchia and Tulin, thank you so much for having today's webinar.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tulin. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me, Dr. Erika?
Hear you loud and clear.
All right. Well, thank you so much for introducing us. Hello, Dr. Saanchia. It's lovely to meet you today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm on my ICU, so it's a little difficult, but I tried to find time to do this. So I'm happy to be here and happy to answer any questions.
Well, we're really, really excited to have you here today, and we really want to learn from your expertise and your experience. So why don't you start us off by giving us a little bit about your educational background and why you chose internal medicine?
Sure. This actually takes me back to my interviews. It's like literally the first question everyone asks. So I'm Saanchia. I'm originally from India, Bangalore, India, but I did my medical school at Kasturba Medical College in Bangalore. So I chose internal medicine mainly because I wanted always to be the first point of contact for patients. And I really appreciated how internal medicine physicians really bridge that gap between other consultants. And I personally love taking care and managing chronic conditions and really titrating dose response. So that gave me an opportunity, and I probably want to do critical care or gastro, and I thought this was the perfect way to segue into that. Apart from that, I would say I'm a photographer. I love eating. I love cooking food, eating. Okay, but I love cooking food. I love fashion designing. Those were a couple of the things that I did outside of med school. And other than that, I come from a very close-knit family, so family is very important to me, and I think that translates with how I talk to my patients. But other than that, that's just a small bit of me. I do love basketball as well. I love watching the NBA, so I think it's beautiful. I love the Lakers, but I think I have to switch to Detroit now. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Honestly, that was amazing. Really glad to get to know you better. I think that also being a family person really helps you develop that rapport with the patients, long-term and managing the chronic conditions. Also, I love eating as well. I think that's, just everyone loves eating and the cooking. Hopefully one day we can try your delicious foods. Well,
I would love for you to, I'm sorry.
No, please continue.
Love for you to come to Michigan, then I could make you try some of my food.
One day then, I'll see you in Michigan.
Yeah.
So, internal medicine, to get into it in the US, I'm guessing you had to do the ERAS application. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Will you tell us what the main components of the ERAS application are?
Sure. So I think even before going to start the ERAS application, you need to, if you're an IMG, which I think most of us are, you need to be ECFMG certified. That's a process in itself. And then the ERAS has a lot of different segments. So it has your personal information, which is pretty straightforward. You fill in whatever visa requirements you have or you don't have. Then the main component of the ERAS application is what translates into your CV. So whatever you put in becomes your CV. You do not need to make a separate CV. So that's a good thing, I would say. So it talks about experiences, and experiences is something I feel like that delineates each individual differently. And you have 10 experience. When I was applying, I had 10 experiences. So you add 10 experiences, and then you have 3 extremely meaningful ones. So what would happen would be you would put your name, your title as in what you did, from which month to which month, and then you'd have a brief description of it. So I would say my take home message would be to make it short and crisp, to make all the points. I would say if you're putting maximum 4 points, I'd make it very short and crisp so you can talk about it in the interview if they, ask. I would not particularly say, I did this on this day. I would say, I examined patients, I got access to the EMR and things, and maybe something unique that you did. Maybe you presented a paper or you present, because I presented on my journal clubs, I think I presented one paper, which was a very popular trial. And then I got to talk about it in my interview. So I would say that gives anything that allows you to express yourself in the interview, you can add it in that and not make it extremely long, because you do need to keep in mind that the program director sees 6,000 applications and they really do not have the time to read everything. They just skim through it. So I would say 4 of my experiences were electives. Then I had 2 leadership roles. Then I had 2 volunteering roles and 1 as a photographer, and what I did as a photographer. So I would also suggest that do not make the 10 experiences monotone, as in do not only talk about your electives or your leadership. I mean, you should be a well-balanced and well-rounded individual, and that's what program directors really look for. They holistically look at you. And you having leadership, you having volunteering, you having something to talk about other than medicine is, I would say, very important. Then after the experiences, you have something called, I think it's called the impactful experience, where you can talk about any hardships that you went through in medical school. Some people go ahead and talk about, how do I put this? They say that, we had to study for the SEP exams and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that is a hardship. That is what is required for you to do. So I would definitely think about the impactful experience, because sometimes one of my colleagues, it did more harm to them than good. So unless it is a life-changing, there is a description for an impactful experience. So if it's a life-changing experience, if you were a first-generation doctor, or if you paid for your education, that makes it impactful. So that is, I did not fill it personally. I just left it blank because I thought that I did not have anything impactful. I was just a regular IMG. So I left it blank, but I'm pretty sure everyone knows best. And then you have the hobbies part. So the hobbies part is the most important part, I would say, because every interview was about like photography and cooking and fashion designing. So I would say put a lot of effort into those, whatever character limit that they give you like very short limits. So I spoke about photography and how it gives me a different lens to the world. And allows me to see things in a different perspective, and even fashion designing in that sense. So please, 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 please talk about your hobbies, mention it. It makes you look more human and less monotonous, And then after that, to the best of my ability, I remember there was research. So you have different types of researches that you can put in. So you can put in original researches which are published, original researches that are not published, case reports, case articles, all of them. So I would say try to have a couple there because again, it shows that you're interested in research. Of course, if you're applying to really competitive fields like ortho or neurosurgery, ideally would want to have more. I personally had five published researchers and one case presentation. And I think I personally am not fond of research, but I just did it for the journey. I'm being very transparent. So I think that was enough for me. But I know people who, it's crazy. They have like 20, 25 papers. It's mind boggling. But yeah. And then, yeah, I think that's the end of the application. I would say the most important part of the application is your hobbies. Maybe it's contrary to popular opinion, but it is something that the PDs really look forward to because it gives them a chance to really know you and it gives them a chance to see you outside of medicine. And I think that's once you get an interview, it is that they already like you on paper. They like your scores, they like your personal statement, they like your CV, they like everything about you, but they want to see how you are as an individual. Because you do need to remember that the program director is going to be with you for 3 years. And you need to be a likable person. I know that sounds very sad, but you have to be likable. You have to put on a happy face. It gets draining at the end of the season. I remember on my 15th interview, I was famished. I really was holding my smile at the end of it because it does get tiring, smiling, being at your best behavior, but you got to do it. I know it sounds very sad, but you got to do it because you want a match. So be at your best behavior, be happy, sound like a team player, be sound hardworking, and just be happy. Just look like you're being happy to be there, and I'm sure all of y'all will match.
Okay, well, that was an amazing insight into your experience. And it seems like it's really important to focus on the hobbies. And then, so you mentioned there's the CV that's just putting your personal information in, and then you've got your personal statement and your hobbies and your experiences. I was also wondering for the experiences, isn't there sort of maybe 3 experiences that you focus in on? Would it be better to make those a bit more lengthy, or do you think keep those short and sweet as well?
So I would keep everything short and sweet because, again, it gives you an opportunity to talk about it in the interview. But the thing is that when you have those 3 really important experiences, you do have another box to talk about why they were so impactful and why they were so nice. So maybe those 3 lines could be the extra that you're adding. I personally kept it very short, crisp, and sweet. I did not increase it. And if possible, I would definitely recommend using bullets or points because it's easier on the eye rather than using paragraphs. Because when I have read like CVs and personal statements of applicants applying this year, I was reading 3. Right. And I was by the third one, when I was seeing paragraphs, I was just like, oh, this is difficult. So that multiplied into 1,000, 3,000, 4,000 is what the PD sees. So I would say try to make it crisp, short. Just say, I did this, enough. Like, a small phrase. I would not say a sentence. Like, do not say she did this and this and this, and then a full stop. Very short and crisp, like how you make notes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Yeah. So short and sweet, easy on the eye, so the person can just skim through it and then hope that they like it as well.
Absolutely.
You also mentioned the personal statement. I was going to ask you, how did you go about writing your personal statement? When did you start? Just a little bit of insight on that.
Sure. So I started writing my personal statement after taking step 2. So I would say August is when I properly started. I'm very, very interested in serving underserved populations, and that has been my volunteering experience as well. So keeping the same tone and the same insight into that, I did speak. So when I was in my second year of medical school, I remember seeing this girl who was next to her mother in the ICU, and so in India, it's pretty fragmented, the healthcare system, and because of which not many people get the access to healthcare that they do, which is what incited my interest towards serving underserved populations. So when I saw that and I saw her eyes cheering up, and then I made a really close bond with her. And I realized that, being a physician goes beyond like actually medicating people. It is about the empathy, the care, and the love that you can provide to the family members, especially given that this is compounded by the lack of education as well. So just being there, holding her, because there was nobody else for her other than her mother, who was in type 2 respiratory failure, COPD, on her last breath. So that's how I started it. And then my sister also had cerebral palsy, so I did speak about that. And I spoke about how internal medicine really is the bread and butter of medicine in general. It is one of the most guiding forces, as well as it is. I see it as an unbroken pursuit to heal individuals. And it's always a constant pursuit to, heal individuals and try to bridge that gap between you being sick and you trying to get better. And that's kind of what internal medicine is to me. And that's what I spoke about. I wouldn't say it was the most engaging personal statement, but I would say that I did get compliments about it because I didn't necessarily. I would say a lot of people did use AI, which I don't oppose to. I would say, I mean, if you want to brush up your sentences, go for it. AMMC does not prohibit the use of AI. It just says that the article should be original, but it can be modified by AI. So, but the program directors, they know when your personal statement is written by AI. It's pretty obvious. So I would say, please don't do that. Try to put in your story. Try to really show how you are as an individual. Like if I read that paper, I want to know, okay, this person is this kind of an individual. This person is jolly, or this person is really compassionate towards X category. And maybe not put the things that you put in your CV in the personal statement. So do not regurgitate the same things. Like talk about something else and say, okay, maybe I did this and I align with that. So maybe you can pull out one thing from your CV if you really want to and say, I did this, and this also aligns with something I did there. But from the most part, I've spoken to PDs and they say that we would not like what is on the CV in your personal statement. So maybe do not regurgitate that and just have a structure. And I think one of the things that completed my CV is try to connect the conclusion with the introduction. If that makes any sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So like you link it back so that what you're talking about, you sort of go back to it and you mention it again. So you have a big picture that just covers sort of everything. Yeah, I get you.
Absolutely. Exactly.
No, it sounds like it was very personal to you. And honestly, it's like your character really reflected through the essay. It was a very personal experience that seems to have stood out to you. So honestly, thank you so much.
And I included cooking in my personal statement. Like I spoke about cooking and how cooking is synonymous to medicine because there are multiple cooks in a broth and multiple ingredients that make food. But medicine is synonymous to that. You have multiple individuals from different levels of caregivers, nurses, technicians, and we all come together to treat individual, and that's what adds to the complexity of it. Food changes every time you make a food. It's different, right? In the same way, every time you treat a patient, they have so many comorbidities. So the way I treat you, I can't treat some other person who's 70 years old. So I added that and many people really liked it. So maybe something very personal. Please keep it extremely, extremely personal. Try not to be generic. I think that's something they really do not like. I'm not saying that you need to have a life-changing experience, but just try to be original, and I'm sure you'll all will do well.
Okay, so try your best to sort of share your personal self in the essay, and then have someone.
And one more thing I would say is definitely get it reviewed. Get it reviewed by multiple people. Please do not make grammatical errors. Try your best. Read it 20, because I read mine 20 times, my personal statement and my CV, and I still found mistakes. It's so difficult because you see the same thing again and again, and your eye becomes fatigued looking at it, right? So get multiple eyes. Try to make sure your CV is grammatically correct. There are no spelling mistakes, and including your personal statement.
Yeah, and then you said that you got people to proofread it. Can I ask who you got to proofread it? Was that sort of friends or other clinicians?
Yeah, so other clinicians. When I was rotating at a hospital, the PD of that program, Then my mom. My mom's my best friend, so my mom. But like, she just liked it. But like, it did give me a medical insight. But I just sent it to her. My friends. But again, I feel like people in the medical community could understand where you're coming from a little bit better. So, your colleagues, I would say your attendings are great people. If you find someone who's a great mentor, and if it's a PD, then it's beautiful because they have seen the letters a million times. So yeah.
And I had a question. I was wondering, was there any point where you felt sort of stuck writing the personal statement, or you really didn't know what to say? And then how did you sort of get past that?
Oh my God, yes. So 2 weeks into my personal statement, I finished a paragraph and a half, and I could not type for the love of God. I don't even know what happened, but it was just, I'm not even an author, but they call that the writer's block or something like that. I had that not the best, but like I mean, I just took a break a week, cleared my mind, didn't do it, didn't look at it for a week, and then after that, to be very honest, I just started back and I was fine. I think whenever you have a block, the best, even with medicine, even with studying, I feel like whenever you cannot study, don't study. So whenever you can't do something, I would say just don't do it because you're taxing yourself more by trying to do it, and it's not helping you or your creative thought process. And for me, I'm not a creative individual, I would say. So for me, it was a bit difficult to, put myself out there. So whenever you're having a block, you can't think. But just remember, it'll pass. Just give it some time. It'll pass. Before you write your personal statement, have a couple of points that you want to add in the personal statement. So, like a story that you want to start with, something that you want to continue with. What about medicine excites you the most, and why you chose internal medicine? And your last paragraph could be about your goals and how you see the program aligning with your values, and certain aspects of the program aligning with your values, and what you think the future of you holds for them.
And then you said the program and how it aligns with your values. So would you mention which program you want in the personal statement?
Yeah. So I think for internal medicine, we have 15 signals. So for the 15 signals, so you have the opportunity to have a separate personal statement per program. But okay. I applied to 200, so I did not have that ability to do that. So what I did was for my signals, my silver signals, I just added the name of the program. Whereas for my gold signals, I actually personalized the last paragraph. Like I added a couple of points, went to their mission statement, read their mission statement a couple of times, saw the key characteristics that I really liked and that aligns with me. And I made it a bit more personal, but I didn't go overboard with it. I would say I just like changed like 3-4 lines. At the end of it, I was pretty much exhausted. I was starting for step 3. So, but don't do what I did. Please put a lot of effort into your personal statement. It is extremely, extremely important. Some people have matched because of great personal statements.
Okay. And then just the programs. So you said as well that you, to almost 200 you applied. How did you pick the programs? Did you just go for like a wide variety of anything, or was there anything specific that you took into consideration when applying?
For the sake of transparency, I'm going to tell you, I only applied to programs that have high IMGs, high percentage of IMGs, because I wanted to match. Now, see, I need a visa, so I can't really choose where I go, but I'm sure people without visas or USMDs or USDOs, they have options. I personally thought that I would not have that much of an option. So whichever programs were good on paper were academic in the sense that had great fellowship matches or had in-house fellowship programs. So that was one criteria because I really want to do fellowship and I do want to do a competitive fellowship like critical care or GI. That was one. Second was high percentage of IMGs. Third was the portion of the IMGs that were Asians. So I made sure that even if they had like 60% IMGs, if all of those IMGs were from Peru or like South America, they're not going to pick me. That's they would usually go for that bracket. So if they were Asians and because I had really good scores, so I never had to worry about the scores. But I'm pretty sure, like, if some programs usually take people only with 260s or 250s, so I would take that also into the consideration. Year of graduation, I'm a very fresh graduate. I graduated in 2024, so again, that would be important for people to consider, because if you're going to apply to a program that is not going to take you, you're wasting $30 pretty much, right? So I would really, really research programs to save money for the most part, because this is an expensive journey, and I feel like I should have applied to like 50 programs, to be very honest, because I just applied because for the sake of it. But I think your signals are your most important bets. So with the introduction of signals, from my 15 interviews, I would say 9 came from signals, which is a huge number, right? But one of them was pre-match. So let's just say 14 proper interviews. So from them, 9 were signals. And that was because so many programs were focusing just on signals. So even your gold signals, I would say choose one program that is reach. For me, it was University of Connecticut. But then other than that, the rest of the programs, I would highly, highly recommend to signaling the program that you can actually match versus where you want to match. As in, everyone wants to match to Mayo, but let's be realistic. Not many people match in a Mayo, not many IMGs. I mean, you could be that IMG that matches in a Mayo, don't get me wrong, but I did not have anything extraordinary in my application. So I think I would say I just tried to see which program actually would take me, because I'm ready to train anywhere. And secondly, the location. Location was not that much because my main family is at home. So I was fine with location, but I didn't necessarily want to go to like Chicago or some kind of places. Yeah.
Okay. So then do a lot of research onto which program sort of works for you best. I think your strategy was amazing. The way you picked the programs, and even when you were speaking about it, I was like, oh, you really put a lot of thought into this. Did you find all that data online? Like just Googling?
No, actually, this, to be very honest, is just my own personal thing. Like I know people who have applied to like other programs. So the thing is, I genuinely just wanted to match. I'll be very honest. I never thought I'd match in this program ever. This is my dream program, and I cannot believe I'm sitting here. But I never thought. I thought I matched in a community hospital, and I was completely fine with that. No problem with that. So this was my goal signal. So I never thought I'd get here, but I was like, you know what? Let's just try, because this program really focuses on recommendations. So networking. If you have someone at the program who's your family member, they usually take you at my program. So that's where I came from. And I think the strategy, I hope, helps people this year. But yeah, if you have a dream program, definitely goal signal it. But I wouldn't put all my 3 goals into extremely reach programs. I would put one of my goals, maybe if I was doing the season again, maybe one of the goals to the reach program like Mayo. And then other 2, maybe programs that I can actually see myself in and will most likely be offered an interview or a look.
Well, also congratulations on getting your dream program. Your application does sound extraordinary, to be honest. You sound like you put a lot of thought into it. I was also going to ask you, so after programs, you also mentioned signaling, then the interviews, how did you prep for these interviews? What did you do?
Okay, so the interview part is actually very nerve-wracking. It is as nerve-wracking as it sounds on the internet, because initially I don't know, unless you're a speaker, you're pretty camera shy. So I would say practice, practice, practice. Please practice. Practice in the mirror, practice in front of people, practice record yourself. Because see, when you play that later on, like when I recorded myself first and played on, I cringed. I'm being very honest, no cliche. It was so bad, okay? So imagine I spoke like that in front of the PD. So please record yourself. Please ask people to sit in front of you and try to prepare for the most common answers, like why internal medicine? Tell me about yourself. Why do you choose this program? How do you handle stress? How do you handle conflict? There's basic questions that everyone has, but have unique answers. Please have unique answers because they have heard the same answer again and again and again. Because everyone will say they're hardworking, but everyone's hardworking. I'm sorry, but everyone is hardworking. So try to be as personable. That's not a word. Relatable. Yeah, relatable. I'm sorry, I'm coming out of ICU. I have brain
It's
fog.
okay. It's
So
amazing.
try to
It's
be
amazing. You're honestly giving amazing advice. I think everyone in this webinar is really enjoying what you're saying, and it's really helpful. So just please continue.
I hope so. So be relatable. Do not be generic, because I was generic in my first interview and they just were not talking to me the way I was not getting the reciprocation that I anticipated. But then when I switched over to my answers and what I wanted to say, as long as and until you're not controversial, it's okay. Like, as long as and until you're not like putting fire somewhere, it's fine. Like, if you're gonna talk about things that are personable to you, that's what makes you you. And if they don't like you for who you are, they're not gonna like you when you're in the program as well, to be very honest. So put yourself out there. Try to be a bit diplomatic, but not to the extent that you're not really talking about yourself. So I got a lot of good feedback from my interviews. I think I got 2 ranked match offers, as well as lot of good post-interview communication. The PD of this program, in fact, communicated back to me, and he never really replies. And he told me that he really liked talking to me, and he gave me really, really good feedback. And I was the last person he interviewed for the season. So I would say just be calm, be don't be rushing yourself when you're talking. I know you have like 10 things to say. It's okay. Take your time. You have the time. Be calm, be engaging, look interested, look happy, wear makeup if that's what you do. Practice, practice, practice. Please, like, once you get an interview, the interview gives you your spot up unless you have like scores. So if you have, so this is, I am not really sure if this is true or not. This is just speculation in the air. But if you have 270s, I think you are always given preference in the rank order list as compared to someone who has a 250, because they make the rank order list with scores and then your interview performance and your LORs. Those are the 3 things that they usually look at. So, but if you have scores and you're cocky, that can do more worse than harm. So I have 270s as well, but that's why I try to be as humble and as nice as possible, because you need to understand that that exam is just an exam. It doesn't make you a great doctor. And I personally very much believe that. So be humble, be nice, act like a team player, be hardworking, show a good personality. And if you have high scores, do not bring it up at all. If they say you have a nice score, just be like, yeah, I'm grateful. That's it. That should be it. Because they really like that. If you're humble and you have high scores, they really, really like that. I got a lot of compliments for that as well. So yeah, just being very, very, very honest with y'all.
So being very sort of relatable yourself, and then just trying to be, as personal, non-generic as possible. And then I was going to ask, was there anyone specifically you prepped with? I know you said you practiced and recorded yourself, but
Yeah.
did you practice with anyone else?
Yeah, so I think IMG Helping Hands does have like these opportunities where you can talk to residents. I don't know if they would give me an opportunity for y'all to talk to me or whatever. If they do, sure. Actually, no. Right now I'm on ICU. Maybe I won't be able to do it right now, but like maybe in the foreseeable future. So yeah, I did talk to her and she gave me a lot of good insight. She told me exactly, because in the initial parts of it, I was really scared. I was, you could hear it in my voice, and I could hear it in my voice. But after that, after a couple of times, it just breaks, the shackles break, and you are able to talk. So I think I did use IMG Helping Hands as one of the modes to prepare myself. And I think it did help. But like by the third session, I was pretty confident, I would say. Yeah, confident. Be confident. Americans love confidence.
I'm really glad to hear that IMGH was so helpful as well with the interview process. I think they have a lot of actually services that they offer and opportunities. So like, for example, research projects, the interview help, I think as well, CV help. So there's quite a lot of opportunities within IMG. And I'm glad to hear that they were of help to you. So
Yeah,
confidence as
absolutely.
well. Yeah.
Absolutely. It was helpful. I personally just used the interview help portion of it. But yeah, I'm sure that you're like doing great things, and I thank you for doing great things. That's why I was like, I'm gonna take out the time and I'm gonna do this today because after this, I'm switching over to nights. So yeah, I don't have a life, but it's okay.
No, we really appreciate you doing this. And even when
I
you're
know, I know.
working, hopefully you'll be enjoying it as well. You'll do what you love.
That is correct.
Well, I'm just gonna have a look at the chat to see if anyone's been asking questions, if that's okay with you. I'm just gonna take a second.
Absolutely.
So I think one of the questions was, in which month should we start working on our application ideally? So the whole ERAS application, when do you think is the best time to sort of start working on it?
August.
August, okay.
Yeah,
And is it September? Sorry, continue, please.
I would say August is the best month to you can start in July, sure. But I would say August, from there you have to start your application. Like you will take time because like I said, you need to proofread that application multiple times because you can always frame something better. And you can always have eyes to look at it. So please start early. Do not push it to the last minute because this application will help you, man.
And is it the application deadline? Is it September 15? Am I right with that? Or
I'm not sure of this year's. Last year it was September 27th. September 15th is fairly early, I would say.
Maybe I must have just read that somewhere. So it's around September time, I think, end of September.
Yeah. It's usually in the end of September, usually in the last week.
Thank you. I think another question, someone was wondering about, how you mentioned like your leadership roles and your volunteering roles and the experiences. They were like, could you say a little bit about what you talked about? What were they, the leadership and volunteering?
Okay, sure. So leadership, I was a secretary of American Medical Students Association. So I had the opportunity to lead, I would say 50 to 60 people who are in our, a brain fog, who are in our association. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Yeah, who are in our. So this was the only chapter in India. So AMSA at that point in time. So it is based in the US in Washington, but we usually have conferences every year where we go to the US and then we present. So I had the opportunity to be the secretary. So we used to host like e-poster competitions, webinars, have guest speakers, and really we hosted a conference as well as a part of AMSA, which was on World Geriatric Day. So that was the leadership role that I did. Other than that, coming to the volunteering, I was a volunteer for the Red Cross for at least I would say 1.5 years. And that was also talked a lot about. Everyone wanted to know what I did and how important it is. And you can really show that empathetic side of you through serving people, It's not about saying I'm empathetic. It is showing empathy through things that you've done. So that, and I was also a medical officer in the rural areas of my country for a month. So every day from 9 to 5, we would go to the health camp. We would manage, diagnose, treat patients, and we would all be completely free of cost. And on the weekends, we did we had a drive where we went educating patients about diabetes, hypertension on the weekends. And we did create a mobile clinic to get vaccination. So that was one of the things that I had done. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. I honestly have no words. That sounds really, really good for the community as well.
Yeah, I really do I feel like those people don't have a voice, or even if they have a voice, they're subdued. And it is, I feel like some way my responsibility to give it back to them because I chose this profession for that. it is not really to make money. I really don't care about that. It was mainly to serve them. I know it sounds cliche, but it's honestly true. Uh, I really want to serve underserved populations, and I'm glad that I have this opportunity to do so. And I feel like wherever I go in the world, that would be something I really, really try and strive to do.
Wow. Again, wow.
Well, yeah, it's not that deep. It's
no,
okay.
I know. You're a very inspiring speaker, and I think that the sort of like your mission for yourself with helping the underserved communities is something that I think everyone should strive to do. Everyone should strive to do that, to help the people who are unheard, to help the people who no one is there to represent them. And I think that it's really beautiful that you've taken that upon yourself and you've gone to do that. And then you've also shared that experience with others. So I just honestly, I want to commend you for that. But yeah.
Yeah, I would say try to have some experience. And if you're not interested in volunteering, please do have something. I understand it's not everyone's calling. I do get it. But I would say it's nice to have it on your CV. Please try to, because again, like it looks like you're well-rounded. They want a well-rounded applicant. They don't want an applicant who just has scores and has not done anything. Because, like I said, scores are good. They're great. They are objective evidence of your academic knowledge, but they are not subjective evidence of your ability to interact with patients, your ability to be a team player, your ability to have empathy, charisma, which is something they really like. So, yeah.
All right. And then I'm just going to have a look again to see if there's any more questions. Dr. Erika, do you have any questions for us? Dr. Erika?
Hello. Yes, of course, of course. Wow, thank you so much for asking me, Tulin. And just thank you so much, Dr. Saanchia, for all of the information that you've been sharing with us. I think this is a very fresh perspective on this current match cycle, because there always seems to be a great emphasis on having to be the top student, having to be the top this, that, and everything. But just the fact that, you really emphasized on the personability, being personable, and, just really showing those passions outside of medicine and connecting them into your mission, I think is just something so amazing. And, I really do commend you on that, Dr. Saanchia. I really do appreciate that you both shared and emphasized on this topic, because I'm sure everybody has, interest, hobbies, and just so many things outside of medicine that they're really eager to share, and not just share in the interview, but integrate into their practice ultimately, correct?
I'm sorry. Yes, I completely agree. I genuinely wanted to give the most honest perspective to this thing, because I know I was there just like the applicants here last year. I know how hard it is. I know how much uncertainty you feel. And my heart really goes out to you, because I was there and I was struggling last year and I did not know if I would match or not. So whatever I can do to the best of my ability, I am ready to do it for y'all. So that's why I was giving you my honest, unfiltered opinion. I know some people would say other stuff, but this is genuinely my honest, unfiltered opinion. And I did not have any connections at all. I don't know anyone, any doctor in the US. Nobody vouched for me. I never got an interview through that. But if there's a route that you can explore as an IMG through that, please do it. Please put your name forward. I'm a very socially awkward, introverted person, so I can't really do that. But I know some people who are great at networking, who really put themselves out there and, who really communicate. Do it. Definitely.
No, definitely. And I, again, just really like the way you put everything together and connected it in your interview. It is one of the most, if not, more crucial components of the match process, because again, that's really where everything gets put together. Your exams, your CV, they get to know you finally in person. And if you don't mind just sharing a little bit more about, that interview prep from IMG Helping Hands, I think it's so amazing. And I'm always really happy to hear when students, go through IMG Helping Hands, because that is our mission at the end of the day, to help as many IMGs as possible, to just really enhance and project, and have you present yourself in the best way possible. How was your experience doing that interview prep, and how do you think that helped you in the interview?
Sure. I would say when I started with, I'm so sorry, I forget her name. I think it was Hania. I'm really sorry, I might be butchering her name. But she was really great in the sense that she gave me a perspective that I needed. She helped me make my answers, I would say, crisper. Try to be short with your answers. Don't talk for long. Because again, if I talk for long, you might lose me in between in transit. And likewise, it's the same with the PD. They're also human. They're also human beings. But they really want to hear you talk 2 minutes for a 20-second answer?
Mhm.
Probably not. So those were the perspectives that she gave me, in the sense that, this would be nice. This is what I would do if I was in your position, and really helped me crisp up my answers. And I think that instilled in my confidence. Like, we would do a session. The first session was just a brief introduction of what I want to say and what I want to do. Then she did give me a couple of questions to work on. And I would say most of the questions that they asked were pretty much on the same grounds. There could be one question out of the bat, like, what animal would you be if you were in time zone X or whatever. I don't know. It never happened to me, but I've heard of horror stories like that. But I don't know. Those questions have no right answer. Okay, it's okay. Whatever you say in those weird questions, they have no right answer. So also the emphasis on the structure of the answer, about how you talk about an example or an anecdote. Whenever they ask you a question, you talk about an anecdote, and then you say the qualities that you learned from that experience. For example, if you had a conflict, so they will ask you, how will you handle conflict? Because conflict is very common when there are so many people and so many perspectives and a lot of hierarchy. So how would you handle that situation? So one of the best ways to say it is being as diplomatic as possible, saying that, I understand that conflict is extremely normal in medicine. It's extremely normal when there are multiple people, but at the same time, it's extremely important to accept each person's perspective, because we're all standing here to help the patient. And you might be one step ahead of me, I might be one step below. So the best way to talk about it is, the best way to go ahead is talk about it, stand together, move aside from the area of the conflict, and talk about it, and try to put your perspective and ask the other individual to put their perspective, and try to talk about the pros and cons.
Mhm.
And then how do you learn from that experience? I'm just giving you an example. This is how my answer would be. And what did you learn from that experience? So from that experience, you learned that, conflict is inevitable. But at the same time, if you focus on the issue rather than maybe the individuals who are having the conflict, and try to really narrow down on working for the best interest of the patient, you don't really have a conflict at the end of it. Because what were you doing? You were trying to help the patient, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that was
Definitely.
kind of how I would go about 90% of my answers. And that she
Mhm.
really helped me with that, I would say.
Wow. Mhm. Do you think the interview process might have gone differently had you not done the interview prep with IMG Helping Hands?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I feel
Mhm.
like, at least maybe not in the end. In the end, I was pretty comfortable. But in the beginning, I would say the first 5 interviews, I think if I did not take their help, it would have been very difficult for me.
Gotcha. Wow. No, so they really do, help you with regards to, like you said, the confidence, the communication. And I really like also just kind of the crash course interview prep that you just gave us right now on how to manage some potentially controversial questions, because those are definitely going to come up.
Oh, yeah.
And, they always ask you those crazy questions just to see you think on the spot, see if you can think on the spot, see what you got to say. And so I think it's amazing that you were coached in a way that not only helped you navigate those questions, but again, answer those questions in the best way possible while presenting yourself in the best way possible. And I think that's so amazing. And for that, again, I do commend you for that, Dr. Saanchia. And I do wish you the best on, just the remainder of your overall career trajectory. I think it's so amazing, again, that you're taking the time also to share your experience here with us. I am looking through the chat once again just to see if there's any, last minute questions, anything else that we can answer. But I mean, it seems like, yes.
I did see some people raise their hand, though. I did see 2 people raise their hand. Is it just me?
I think I did see them raise. Yes, I do. I do see some hands raised. If it's possible to type it in the chat, if it is possible to type your question in the chat, we'd be more than happy to answer them and go through them as well. So thank you so much once again, Chai, Suez, Ronit, for asking the questions. That way we could have better visibility on the questions and everybody's able to just really see your perspectives and just really any questions you have. And I am seeing here with regards to Chai, pre-match, did you do any pre-match? How did you go about it? We're pretty curious to know.
Sure. So I had one pre-match offer that I got, but I declined. I don't know what else to say. I got a pre-match offer and I had a pre-match situation and I did contemplate. And it was one of the first interviews I had done. So I did get an offer in, but I was hoping at that point in time I had 7 interviews. But I don't know why. It was a hospital in New York and I don't know. I just never took it. I don't know why I did not. Now that I think back in retrospect, maybe I would, but I'm so glad I didn't. I don't know. I'm so glad but I understand why people would, because if you have fewer interviews, I would take it. I would definitely take it. It's a sure shot, you're going to match. The only thing is those programs are very, how do I say this without getting canceled? They are not the best. Is what I'm just going to leave it at that. They're not the best place to become the physician maybe you'd want to be. Maybe again. I'm not saying that for all, but that program was not the place I wanted to be at or train at. I do want a lot of academia and as well. And I want a lot of research opportunities, as well as the ability to maybe go out of town and do an elective, which that program did not have the opportunity for. So whenever you're accepting a pre-match offer, please check on all that, because you don't want to be miserable as well. You got to spend 3 years there and do your due diligence before you accept that offer. I would say that, yeah.
And I think that's really good to point out, because again, at the end of the day, you want to choose a program that is well aligned with your personal goals as well. So, there might be individuals who want to explore the country, see what else is out there. And likewise, there might be some who just kind of want to stay home because they love their hometown or they love where they get chosen. And, maybe outside electives might not necessarily be, the biggest priority to them. And so I think it's good to acknowledge. I do definitely agree with you, that you do have to take research, your research into account of the program, not necessarily is the program good or bad, but just really whether or not it aligns with your overall goal as a physician and your trajectory. So I think it's really good that you pointed that out, Dr. Saanchia. And with regards to signaling, I am seeing here, was there any specific strategy that you used for gold signaling?
So I think I did mention that, but I'll go over it again quickly. So I did use, so we had 3 goals when I was applying. So one goal was my REACH program. And 2 goals were the programs that were very good university programs, but had a higher percentage of IMGs. And that was about it, because in the university program, it's usually academic. It has a lot of research. I work 60 hours a week, which is beautiful, or 65 is the max we go at this program, which is very, 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 very good. I know programs that they make you work 80 hours, and my friends in Gen Surg, they work 95. Which is quite a bit, I would say. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Gen Surg is different. I think surgical specialties are different. But for IM also, I do know of some programs where you have to do the ancillary work, or you have to do a lot of the work other than your own. So you do have to keep that in mind as well. But academic programs and university programs usually are lighter on that aspect, and they usually give you time to do research. In my program, you also have like a research elective where you can just do research for a month, and you also have that opportunity. So for that, for the 12 silver signals, I was mainly focusing on, again, the criteria that I already spoke about. The percentage of IMGs, whether they're Asians and they take Asians, the scores, the year of graduation. And some programs also have like a requirement where you have to perform 6 months of electives or 4 months of electives. So please go to each program's website, see the application requirements, and then apply. Because you're only going to be wasting money if you don't do that.
Got it. And do you have any last words, any last piece of advice? I mean, I know you've provided so much invaluable advice to individuals, and definitely some of those things will definitely be taken into account in future match cycles. But if there was just one lasting message you would like to leave with the individuals who are watching this webinar, what is something you would like to share?
Believe in yourself. You can do it. Trust me. There's so many times I didn't believe in myself, but I did it. And you can. If not this year, you will match next year. If not the next year, you match later. Believe in yourself. Don't stop the hustle. Don't stop the grind. And learn to enjoy your life. It's okay. Things happen. Things go out of hand. It's okay. Okay, you only have one life. Enjoy it. The match may seem like, oh my God, if I don't match, what will I do? You'll be fine. If you don't match, you will apply next year. You'll be fine. Enjoy the time that you have now, because once you start residency, do not have any time. So do not. It's okay. Just be happy. Just enjoy the time that you have. Take step 3. One more.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a really good tip. No, yeah, definitely. And thank you so much, Dr. Saanchia, once again for your time. Thank you so much, Tulin, for hosting this webinar. Again, there were just so many, golden opportunities, golden comments that were shared here with us. And, with the other messages that I'm seeing here in the chat, some of them are a little more specific where, they might require a bit more of a personalized response. I do just want to remind everybody that if you are interested in a more personalized, again, approach to your match journey, you can definitely connect with us. I did share here both our WhatsApp groups for research. For anybody interested in our research opportunities, we do share our current and upcoming research projects here. Likewise, like I said, anything more personalized, just like Dr. Saanchia took advantage of the interview prep, which has really helped her enhance and lock down, and not only an interview, but an acceptance. We can definitely work with you there too. If you schedule a consult as well, if you want to reach out, definitely you can totally do so. But again, at the end of the day, I think it's just so amazing that, it can be done. It seems impossible. It seems like an uphill battle, but with the right connections, with the right network, with the right support system, it can definitely be done. It's definitely possible. And Dr. Saanchia is an excellent example of that. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Saanchia.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and you all have a beautiful night, day, whatever, wherever you all are.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Tulin.
Of course. I really enjoyed talking to you, Dr. Saanchia. Thank you. Bye-bye.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Right. And for everybody else, thank you so much for everybody who attended today's match webinar with so many excellent topics. Like I said, don't forget to stay connected, follow us on social media, join the groups, take advantage of the opportunities. That way you can match as well. But again, it's always such a pleasure speaking with you and just really having an overall interactive session. So I do thank all of our viewers as well. And with that, I hope everybody continues having a wonderful day, afternoon, and evening, and we'll stay connected. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.